Hey, I'm Jusko from ProblemMoney.com, and in this video we're going to do another exciting edition of What's in My Wallet for the fourth quarter of 2022. Before we do it, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you've not already, and if you have already, I thank you for doing so. So fourth quarter is upon us, October 1st through the end of 2022. That is what we are going to be looking at. I'm going to tell you what cards I am going to be using. Now, the third quarter was kind of a topsy-turvy quarter because there were the sort of interesting categories on the 5% rotating category cards, and then there were a ton of targeted offers on certain credit cards as well. So I was getting 5% on gas, 5% on restaurants, 5% on a bunch of other categories as well. There were a lot of these targeted offers, and there were so many of them it was almost hard to remember where you were getting the deal from because they were sort of coming from strange things. Like I was getting 5% on restaurants from the Amazon card and 5% on PayPal from the Citi Double Cash card, all kinds of things that are not normally true. Now, there are some special targeted offers for the fourth quarter as well that we will talk about. The third quarter ones pretty much we're all ending on September 30th, but then we have the 5% rotating category cards, all kinds of interesting stuff going on. Now, because of those special offers, some of the cards that I have in my wallet got neglected in quarter three, probably the most neglected of them being the Blue Cash Preferred card, where I normally would get 6% on groceries. I chose not to use this in the third quarter because of the 5% on groceries on some of the other cards that I have. Now, obviously 6% is more than 5%, but there's a $6,000 cap per year on groceries on this card. So I chose to use the 5% so that I could use the 6% and get the max, and then any other grocery purchases I would make would get the 5%, if that makes sense. So I didn't want to go over that cap too early. So this will be back in vogue in the fourth quarter for groceries, 6% on up to $6,000 worth of purchases at US supermarkets. You also get 6% on streaming services here, 3% on gas, although I won't use it for the gas purchases. Overall, a good card does have an annual fee of $95. However, very much worth it if you are going to get anywhere near that $6,000 cap. Another neglected card coming back into the rotation is going to be the Verizon Visa, which will be my gas card for the fourth quarter of 2022. 4% on gas purchases with this card, also 4% on grocery purchases, and has some other good rewards too. Now, if you're not a Verizon customer, this is not a card that is going to be of a lot of interest to you, but since I am, this is one where it makes sense. So a lot of good categories here where you can earn well if you are a Verizon customer. Citi Custom Cash will be my 5% category on restaurants for fourth quarter. That has been traditionally, not that it's been a long tradition, but this has been what I've mostly used it as since I got the card. In the third quarter, though, I did use it on groceries because I had a targeted offer where I could get an extra 4% on grocery purchases on top of the 5% that I would get on grocery purchases if that was my highest spend category. You get 5% cash back in your highest spending category each month or each billing cycle with this card. And so usually I choose restaurants, but for most of the third quarter, I was choosing grocery store purchases. So back to restaurants. Now, one of the things with the Citi Custom Cash you may have noticed if you have it is the fact that you want to really ideally have the cutoff be on the first, where the first of each month you would be starting again, and you could think about, okay, how much have I spent in order to sort of maximize that $500 where I get the 5%. Unfortunately, you can't cut it off perfectly like that. So I changed my billing cycle on the Citi Custom Cash, but even then I think it starts on the 4th of each month because of the way they run their billing cycles and because of the fact that the months are different lengths. You can't just have your billing cycle start on the 1st of each month. So I did the best I could. And actually, I almost forgot the Citi Custom Cash also has an extra 5% offer on certain categories through November 30th. So not for the whole fourth quarter, but the targeted offer I got was for 5% at department stores, at clothing stores, at electronics stores, and office supply stores, where you get 5% on purchases there for the next couple months. And that is on up to $625 worth of purchases. You get 2,500 extra bonus points under that offer. Good chance if you have the Citi Custom Cash that you got the same offer as I did, although I did hear some people say that they got a different targeted offer, but the one I got seems to be the most common. For travel in quarter four, it's probably mostly going to be the Wells Fargo Autograph Visa that gets my spending. Maybe the Citi Premier MasterCard going to get some of that spending as well. The Autograph Visa a little more all-encompassing encompassing in terms of what constitutes travel, mostly air travel and hotels with the City Premier. What's nice about both of these cards is that sometimes if you eat at restaurants and hotels, you're never quite sure how it's going to code. Is it going to code as a hotel or is it going to code as a restaurant? So sometimes if you are thinking that it's going to code as a hotel, you could use one of these cards, and if it codes as a restaurant, you're still going to get 3 points per dollar on either one of these cards because they also have 3% at restaurants as well as hotels. So even if you screw it up and it doesn't code the way you think it's going to, you're going to be covered if you use one of these cards. Target Red Card and Amazon Visa always in the wallet. The Target Red Card gives you a 5% discount on your Target purchases. Like I always say, if you don't have the Target card, when you shop at Target, you'd end up paying 5% more than everyone else. It's not rewards, it's just a straight discount. Amazon Visa, for the Amazon purchases. If you are a Prime member, as I am, you're going to get 5% back in rewards on your Amazon purchases, a no-brainer. Now let's talk about our 5% rotating category cards. In my case, the Chase Freedom Unlimited and the Discover It card. These are the 5% rotating cards that most people are most likely to have. The Chase Freedom Unlimited is 5% at Walmart and PayPal for Q4. The Discover It card is 5% at Amazon, or the use of digital wallets, which is Google Pay, Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, Garmin Pay. So that's where you're going to get your 5% in each of these, and that is on up to $1,500 of purchases in those 5% categories for the fourth quarter. So for me, I'm not going to probably use this at Walmart. That will probably be the Chase Freedom Unlimited, that is, will probably be all through PayPal. And then the digital wallets, which I have to say I'm not really all that great at using other than using PayPal, which is sort of a digital wallet. Anyway, that is what is going to be on the Discover card because I already have the Amazon Visa where I'm getting 5%. So we're going to be using the digital wallets more, or at least we're going to be trying to max out those 5% categories in Q4. And then if by chance I make purchases that don't fall into any of those many buckets we just talked about, it is going to be the Citi Double Cash that is going to get my spending 2% flat cash back on all your purchases. You get 1% when you make the purchase, 1% when you pay it back. So that is my sort of fallback, the umbrella card for anything that doesn't fit. If I'm feeling naughty, I will use the Capital One Venture X card. That doesn't even make any sense, I realize. But that also gives 2 points per dollar on all of your purchases, but those points are not cash back. Mostly the best way to use them is for travel. And then I have a few cards I hold that rarely get any love in terms of purchases, one of them being the Chase Sapphire Preferred that I keep around, and every year I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it around because it does give me access to Chase's travel transfer partners and 25% extra when you make redemptions through the Chase travel portal, but it's always sort of on the chopping block and I always end up keeping it. I don't even know if I can really justify it anymore, but I still have it, but there's really no good reason to use it as far as I'm concerned for actual purchases. American Express Platinum, kind of the same thing. Sometimes for travel I will use this, but pretty rarely. I do take advantage of the Uber credit here and there on this card, but it doesn't really get a whole lot of use in terms of actual spending. And now people have been asking me about this one, is the Curve card. Now the Curve is not an actual sort of credit card on its own. It is the one card that's supposed to sort of hold all your other cards, and then you can use it and designate which card you want to use. I have found myself really not using the Curve card almost at all. Now I made a promise I was going to use the Curve card and I was going to report back at how it was going and how well it worked, and I think I've used it twice. And it worked okay, but the Curve card had a lot of problems, one of them being that you could not store any of your Visa credit cards onto this card, which for me just made the whole thing like, well, I don't feel like trying to remember which cards are on here and which cards aren't on here when I make my purchases. So it really has just been a card that I have kept and not done anything with for the most part. And the funny thing is, Curve has not encouraged me in any way to use the card either. I have not heard from them again since I got it. So it's not like they said, hey, you got this, why aren't you using it? Or giving me any special offers or anything of that nature at all. They've never again contacted me about this since I got it, which is sort of weird. So I don't know if that is, they're doing so well that they don't have time to try and get people to use the card, or they're doing so poorly, that, you know, they just know that there's no hope, or what's going on exactly with them. But I really have not used this card, even though I had the best of intentions. So got a lot of cards. A lot of them are going to get a lot of use in the fourth quarter. I'm sure that is true for you, but some of them not going to see the light of day, as they have not in a very long time. Love to hear what you are using, what you have, what's going to be in and what's going to be out for the fourth quarter. If you got any targeted offers that you didn't see in this video, put it all in that comment section below. Otherwise, I thank you for watching in. As always, please go to proudmoney.com, where we do credit card reviews, we talk personal finance, we talk deals, and a whole lot of other fun stuff too. If you're not going to leave a comment, or you are not going to go to my website, I would like you now to watch this video.